Hi, this is Jordan Janung. In this lab, I want to talk about the Zachman framework for enterprise architecture, also known as the Zachman framework. It's a framework for enterprise architecture that can be used to view and define an enterprise IT architecture. This is a graphical representation of the Zachman framework. Each row of the framework model represents a different view. We've got the scope context, which is the planner's view or executive perspective. The business concepts, which is basically a model of the business. This is the business management perspective. System logic, which is a model of the information system, and this is the architect or designer's perspective. Technology physics, which is the technology model. This is the engineer or builder's perspective. And then tool components or operations classes. This is the technician's perspective. This is a detailed representation of the model. And then we have the operations instances, which is basically the enterprise perspective. This is when we have a functioning system. The framework has been implemented into a functioning system, functioning enterprise viewpoint. Each of the columns in the model represents a different area for the different perspectives. We have the what, which is basically the data. What are you trying to protect? The inventory sets. The how are we going to do this? This is the process transformation. Where are we going to do this? Who is going to do this? Which is basically the people, the different organization groups. When, which is the timing periods, and why, which is the motivation behind why you're doing this. The rows and columns make up a 6x6 matrix. When different rows and columns overlap, you can see that the item that is of concern in that area is going to be different for each one. For the executive perspective, the scope context, the what is going to be inventory identification. The how will be process identification. The where will be distribution identification. The who will be responsibility identification. When, timing identification. Why, motivation identification. For the business concepts, business management perspective, we'll have the inventory definition, process definition, distribution definition, responsibility definition, timing and motivation definitions. The architect perspective is going to have to do with the actual representation. The engineer's perspective will have to do with the specification of the different areas. And then the technician perspective will have to do with the configuration. And then at the enterprise level, the inventory instantiations, process instantiations, distribution, responsibility, timing, and motivation. The Zachman framework can be extremely useful to your organization in defining an enterprise architecture. One of the benefits of using it is because it's so flexible, it can be transferred into different industries. All enterprise architectures are made up of these different views, perspectives, and areas, so they can be used in all different industries. And in this case, the IT security industry, to helping you build a framework for your organization. In this lab, I gave you an introduction into the Zachman framework and talked about the different layers, perspectives, and areas that make up the framework.